Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Imagine that for a moment. In a world overflowing with distractions, noise, and external pressures, Aurelius gives us a key that unlocks a different way of living. It's not the events of the world, not the unpredictable circumstances swirling around us, but the quality of our own thoughts that determines our happiness. That's revolutionary, because it puts the power back where it belongs inside of us. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy born in Greece and refined in Rome, reminds us that while we can't control everything outside, we have absolute power over how we interpret and respond to life. That is where peace and freedom begin. Today, we're diving into how Stoicism can transform not only your mornings, but your entire life. This is about more than philosophy. It's about survival in today's overwhelming digital age. It's about building a daily practice that grounds you in calm, resilience, and purpose. 1. Why your morning matters. Think about how most people start their day. The alarm rings. They hit snooze 3 or 4 times. Eventually, they drag themselves out of bed, scroll through social media, check emails, and immediately let the chaos of the outside world dictate their state of mind. They start reactive, not proactive, and the tone of the morning follows them for the rest of the day. The Stoics teach a different approach. Aurelius began each morning reminding himself, "Today I will meet people who are selfish, arrogant, envious, or rude. Yet I will not be harmed by them, for their nature is different from mine." In other words, he mentally prepared himself for the day before it began. If you want to own your day, you must first own your morning. That is why Stoic wisdom places such importance on daily reflection, gratitude, and intentional living from the moment you open your eyes. 2. Controlling the inner world. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, wrote, "We suffer more, often in imagination than in reality." This truth is even more relevant today. We are constantly bombarded by information that triggers fear, envy, or insecurity. Advertisements tell us we aren't enough. Social media convinces us that everyone else is happier, richer, or more successful. The mind becomes a battlefield, but Stoicism says, guard your mind like a fortress. If happiness depends on your thoughts, then curating those thoughts is not optional, it's essential. So here's a Stoic practice. When you wake up, before touching your phone, give yourself a mental shield. Affirm to yourself, "I control my mind." 1. Choose gratitude. I choose resilience. I choose peace. This small act sets the tone. Instead of letting negativity flood in, you consciously plant seeds of strength and calm. 3. The Stoic art of resilience. Resilience is at the heart of Stoicism. Life will test you. Some mornings you will wake up full of energy, others with anxiety, stress, or exhaustion. The Stoics remind us that resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It's about preparing for it. Epictetus, once a slave who rose to become a great philosopher, taught that we should differentiate between what is within our control and what is not. The weather, the economy, the moods of others, these are not ours to command. But our effort, our discipline, our choices, these are always in our control. When you face mornings where dread creeps in, remember this: you are not powerless. You can't dictate the entire world, but you can dictate how you show up. You can create small rituals that train resilience. For example, wake up and immediately make your bed. It's a simple act, but it signals discipline. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Breathe deeply for 2 minutes. Center yourself in the present moment. These micro-practices, rooted in Stoic discipline, prepare you for whatever storms the day brings. 4. Ikigai, your reason for being. Now, let's introduce a concept that pairs beautifully with Stoicism. Ikigai, a Japanese philosophy meaning reason for being. It's about discovering the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. When you align your mornings and your life with your Ikigai, you wake up with purpose, not resistance. Marcus Aurelius believed every person is here to contribute meaningfully to the world. He urged us to see each day as an opportunity to fulfill our role with integrity. When we connect this Stoic idea with Ikigai, mornings become exciting instead of dreadful. You're no longer waking up simply to get through the day. You're waking up to pursue your purpose. 5. Evening preparation shapes the morning. Here's a Stoic truth. Your morning begins the night before. The quality of your rest determines the quality of your mindset. Too often, we sabotage tomorrow by overindulging tonight. Scrolling endlessly, binge watching, or sleeping at erratic times leaves us waking up groggy and unprepared. Seneca warned about wasting time because, unlike wealth, time cannot be replenished. So honor your evenings. Build a pre-sleep ritual that supports your morning purpose. Limit screens at least an hour before bed. Reflect on your day. What did I do well, and what can I improve? Write your top 3 priorities for tomorrow. Practice gratitude for one positive event from the day. This simple preparation aligns perfectly with Stoic wisdom. Control what you can, release what you can't, and prepare yourself for the next opportunity to live with purpose. 6. Digital boundaries. Marcus Aurelius didn't face smartphones, but he did face distractions, political unrest, wars, personal loss. His solution? Focus only on what mattered. In our era, digital noise is one of the biggest thieves of peace. If you check social media or emails first thing in the morning, you've already surrendered control. The Stoic solution is digital boundaries. Create a morning space that is free from screens. Instead of doom scrolling, invest that first hour in activities that nourish you: reading, journaling, stretching, meditation, or simply enjoying your coffee in silence. These intentional choices create a foundation of calm before the world's noise can reach you. 7. Small wins, big character. The Stoics believed character is built not in grand heroic acts, but in small, consistent actions. Waking up on time, making your bed, planning your day. These simple practices seem small, but each one is a vote for the person you want to become. As Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Start small. Begin with one Stoic practice tomorrow morning. Over time, these small victories accumulate, creating discipline, peace, and resilience. 8. Conclusion. The happiness of your life truly does depend on the quality of your thoughts. But thoughts don't shape themselves. They must be guided, disciplined, and aligned with purpose. That is the Stoic morning mindset. When you prepare your evenings with intention, guard your mornings with discipline, and connect your life with purpose, you no longer dread the day. Instead, you rise with clarity, resilience, and peace, guarding the fortress of the mind. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This idea stands at the very heart of Stoicism. In a noisy world filled with distractions, comparisons, and external pressures, our greatest defense is to treat the mind as a fortress guarded, disciplined, and untouchable by the chaos outside its walls. Think about it. Every day, countless things beg for your attention: social media notifications, endless emails, people's opinions, the constant cycle of bad news. If you let everything in, your mental world becomes cluttered, anxious, and reactive. But if you decide what gets in and what stays out, suddenly you are free. Your peace is preserved not because the world is quiet, but because you have become a gatekeeper of your own thoughts. The Stoics urged us to filter carefully. Ask, does this serve me? Does it help me grow? Or is it just noise? By practicing this filter daily, you build mental clarity and resilience. Practical step. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, act with intention. If not, let it pass. This simple habit protects your mind from unnecessary suffering, turning offense into opportunity. How often do we feel slighted, disrespected, or offended? Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, a colleague criticizes you unfairly, or a friend forgets something important. The natural reaction is anger, but the Stoics flipped the script. Offense is not given, it is taken. Epictetus taught, if someone speaks badly of you, remember that they are only speaking of what they think they know. In other words, their words reflect them, not you. The insult only hurts if you choose to accept it. Instead of reacting with outrage, Stoicism invites us to pause. Ask, does this really diminish me? Or is it only my interpretation making it painful? When you detach your worth from others' opinions, you reclaim power. Practical step. Next time you feel insulted, imagine placing the words on a table in front of you. They are objects, nothing more. You can pick them up and let them pierce you, or you can leave them there, untouched. This simple visualization shifts your perspective and keeps your peace intact. The power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. What did he mean? It's about perspective. Two people can face the same challenge, say, losing a job. One spirals into despair, feeling worthless. The other sees it as a chance to grow, to pursue a path they ignored before. The external event is the same, but the meaning is radically different. That meaning is shaped by perspective. The Stoics trained themselves to look at difficulties not as curses, but as opportunities. Seneca wrote, difficulty strengthens the mind as labor does the body. By reframing hardship, you turn it into fuel for growth. Practical step. When you face a setback, write down 3 ways it could actually serve you. Maybe it teaches patience, builds resilience, or opens new doors. This exercise retrains your brain to see challenges as teachers rather than enemies. The discipline of attention. Modern life thrives on stealing our focus. Companies compete to keep your eyes glued to screens. Notifications pull you in every direction, and multitasking has become the default. Yet the Stoics knew long ago what scientists now confirm. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. Marcus Aurelius warned against scattering your focus. He said, do not waste the remaining part of your life in thoughts about others. when you are not referring your thoughts to some object of common utility. In other words, be deliberate. Pay attention to what matters. Imagine giving your full presence to each moment, listening deeply in conversations, working without distraction, savoring meals without scrolling through your phone. This is Stoicism in action. Practical step. Try the practice of single tasking. For 1 hour, choose one activity, reading, writing, exercising, and give it your full attention. No multitasking, no background noise. You'll notice not only more productivity, but also more calm and satisfaction. Stoicism and emotional alchemy. One of the most powerful lessons of Stoicism is emotional transformation, not suppressing feelings, but reshaping them. Epictetus explained that emotions are not caused by events themselves, but by our judgments about those events. For example, rain ruins your picnic. You judge it as bad and frustration arises. But what if you judge it differently, as a chance to enjoy an indoor gathering or to nourish the earth? Suddenly the emotion shifts. This is emotional alchemy, turning negative reactions into neutral or even positive ones through reframing. It doesn't mean you never feel sadness, anger, or disappointment. It means you don't become their prisoner. Practical step. When you feel a strong emotion, pause and ask, what belief is fueling this feeling? Is it true? Can I reframe it? This turns every emotional storm into an opportunity for inner mastery, resilience through self-talk. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations is essentially his private journal of self-talk. He reminded himself daily of what mattered: to live with virtue, to stay calm, to endure hardship with grace. He wasn't lecturing the world, he was guiding himself. This shows the power of intentional self-talk. Instead of letting your inner voice spiral into negativity, I can't handle this, I'm failing, I'm unlucky, you train it to be your ally. Self-talk becomes your shield and your sword. Practical step. Create a short Stoic mantra you repeat in difficult times. For example, this too is within my power to endure. I cannot control events, only my response. Obstacles are the path. Repeat it when stress rises, and you'll feel your perspective shift. The quiet strength of detachment. Finally, Stoicism teaches the art of detachment, not indifference, but freedom from unhealthy attachment. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the fleeting nature of life. Everything changes, everything passes. When you accept impermanence, you stop clinging so tightly. Relationships, possessions, status, they are gifts, not guarantees. Gratitude replaces entitlement. Peace replaces anxiety. Practical step. Each evening, practice negative visualization. Imagine losing one thing you value, a possession, a comfort, even a relationship. Not to depress yourself, but to deepen appreciation. The next day, you'll cherish it more fully, knowing it's not permanent. We've explored how to guard the mind, transform offense, shift perspective, train attention, practice emotional alchemy, and embrace detachment. These are not abstract theories, they are practical tools you can use right now, today. Remember, Stoicism isn't about ignoring the world. It's about engaging with it, wisely protecting your peace, focusing your attention, and choosing your perspective. This is how you build inner strength that no insult, no chaos, and no storm can take away. Fear, shame, and the Stoic response. Fear and shame are two of the most powerful emotions that can paralyze us. Fear keeps us from taking risks, from speaking our truth, from living fully. Shame whispers that we are not enough, that our failures define us, that we are unworthy of love or respect. But the Stoics remind us these emotions are not enemies, they are signals. Fear points to what we value, and shame points to where our pride is fragile. When seen through the Stoic lens, they become opportunities for growth instead of chains that bind us. Epictetus taught, "It is not death or pain that is to be feared, but the fear of death or pain." Fear itself is often worse than the thing we fear. By rehearsing difficulties in our mind, we suffer twice, once in imagination and once in reality. Practical step. Try voluntary discomfort, a Stoic exercise where you expose yourself to small challenges like taking a cold shower, fasting for a few hours, or walking instead of driving. By facing small fears daily, you train yourself to face larger ones with calm. As for shame, Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That's the only standard that matters." You are not defined by what others think. You are defined by your actions, aligned with virtue. Obstacles is the way. Perhaps the most famous Stoic principle is that the obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Life constantly throws obstacles at us, lost opportunities, illnesses, betrayals, setbacks. Most people see them as walls blocking their path. The Stoic sees them as the path itself. A failure at work? It becomes the teacher of resilience. A betrayal? It becomes the practice ground for forgiveness. A financial struggle? It sharpens creativity and discipline. This mindset doesn't magically make pain disappear, but it transforms it into fuel. Instead of being crushed by difficulty, you are shaped by it. Practical step. The next time you face a setback, pause and ask, "How can this situation serve my growth? What strength is it training in me?" Write it down. This habit rewires your brain to see obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities. The strength of restraint. In a world that praises quick reactions and fiery responses, restraint is underrated. Yet for the Stoics it was a sign of true strength. Anyone can lash out when provoked. Few can remain calm, choose silence, or respond with wisdom. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." For he is not permitted to prove himself. But how do we prove ourselves? Not through anger, not through impulsive actions, but through restraint. Think of a sword. In the hands of someone reckless, it causes destruction. In the hands of a disciplined warrior, it brings protection and order. Your words and actions are the same. Restraint is the discipline that transforms raw energy into meaningful strength. Practical step. Practice the pause. When anger rises, count to 10 before responding. When tempted to overindulge, pause and breathe before acting. This moment of restraint often makes the difference between regret and wisdom. Freedom through self-mastery. The Stoics taught that true freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about not being enslaved by your impulses. Epictetus, who lived as a slave for part of his life, declared that a man who cannot control his desires is still a prisoner no matter his external circumstances. Consider how often we are ruled by cravings, food, status, validation, possessions. Each craving pulls at us like a chain. But when you master yourself, you break those chains. You no longer need constant pleasure to feel whole. You no longer depend on others' approval to feel worthy. This doesn't mean denying all joy. It means enjoying it with balance, without being consumed by it. Practical step: choose one area of your life diet, spending, social media use, and practice moderation. Not elimination, just discipline. By proving to yourself that you can say no, you grow stronger. The courage to live aligned with nature. The Stoics often spoke of living according to nature. At first, this sounds abstract, but what they meant was simple. Live in harmony with reality. Accept the seasons of life. Embrace change. Play your role with integrity, whether it's as a parent, friend, worker, or leader. Marcus Aurelius reflected daily on his duty as emperor, not to indulge in luxury, but to serve. He saw himself as part of the greater whole, like a hand is part of a body. Living according to nature meant living for more than just himself. For us, this means aligning with our deeper values, not chasing empty distractions. It means recognizing that we are part of humanity, and what benefits the whole benefits us too. Practical step: ask yourself each morning, what is my role today, and how can I fulfill it with integrity? This practice brings clarity and prevents you from being swept away by trivial pursuits. Gratitude amidst hardship. Gratitude is not a modern invention. It is deeply Stoic. Seneca wrote extensively about appreciating what we have instead of longing for what we lack. He warned that constant desire leads to restlessness, while gratitude anchors us in peace. Even in hardship, the Stoics practiced gratitude. They gave thanks for opportunities to grow stronger, for the lessons hidden in trials, and for the simple fact of being alive. Practical step: each evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for: one easy, one difficult, and one ordinary. For example, ease: a good conversation with a friend. Difficult: a challenge that forced you to grow. Ordinary: the warmth of sunlight on your face. This practice rewires your mind to find peace even in struggle. We've uncovered the power of facing fear and shame, the wisdom of seeing obstacles as the path, the discipline of restraint, the freedom of self-mastery, the courage to live aligned with nature, and the peace of gratitude. Together, these principles form a powerful framework for resilience. They remind us that no matter what storms life brings, we are never powerless. We can always choose our response. We can always grow stronger. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Even in hardship, the Stoics practiced gratitude. They gave thanks for opportunities to grow stronger, for the lessons hidden in trials, and for the simple fact of being alive. Practical step: each evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for: one easy, one difficult, and one ordinary. For example, easy: a good conversation with a friend. Difficult: a challenge that forced you to grow. Ordinary: the warmth of sunlight on your face. This practice rewires your mind to find peace even in struggle. We've uncovered the power of facing fear and shame, the wisdom of seeing obstacles as the path, the discipline of restraint, the freedom of self-mastery, the courage to live aligned with nature, and the peace of gratitude. Together, these principles form a powerful framework for resilience. They remind us that no matter what storms life brings, we are never powerless. We can always choose our response. We can always grow stronger. As Marcus Aurelius said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Stoicism and daily rituals. Philosophy is not meant to live in books. It is meant to be lived. The Stoics were clear. Wisdom is useless if it is not practiced daily. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor of Rome, wrote his meditations not to publish, but to remind himself of how to live. They were his private training ground. To live Stoicism today, we can create small daily rituals. Start the morning with reflection. What kind of person do I want to be today? End the day with review. Where did I succeed, and where can I improve? This self-examination builds awareness and discipline. Practical step. Keep a Stoic journal. Each morning, write down one principle to guide your day. Each evening, write down one lesson you learned. Over time, this practice will sharpen your character. Relationships through the Stoic lens. We often think Stoicism means emotional detachment, but this is a misunderstanding. The Stoics did not reject love or friendship. Instead, they taught us to love deeply, without clinging, to enjoy relationships without being destroyed by loss. Epictetus said, "Never say of anything, 'I have lost it,' but 'I have returned it.' When someone we love passes away, the Stoic does not deny grief, but accepts that all things are temporary gifts. Gratitude replaces desperation. This perspective helps us love better. If you know that every moment with a loved one is borrowed time, you treasure it more fully. You complain less, appreciate more, and live with presence. Practical step. The next time you are with someone you love, pause and remind yourself, this moment is temporary. How can I make it meaningful? That awareness transforms ordinary time into sacred time. Modern distractions and Stoic focus. Our world is full of noise, social media, constant notifications, endless comparisons. The Stoics lived in busy Rome, but even they would be astonished at the distractions of today. The question is, how do we remain centered in such chaos? The Stoic answer is focus. Decide what is in your control and devote your energy there. Do not waste life scrolling, envying, or chasing approval. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life." We must learn to reclaim our attention, to treat it as the most precious currency of life. Practical step. Try a Stoic digital fast. For 1 hour a day, put away all devices. Use that time to read, write, or sit in silence. Over time, extend it. You'll discover that peace is not found in constant stimulation, but in quiet clarity. Facing suffering with strength. No philosophy is complete unless it prepares us for suffering. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius lost children. Seneca faced exile. Epictetus lived with physical disability. Yet they all insisted, suffering does not define us. Our response does. They practiced a mindset of acceptance. Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly, Epictetus advised. This doesn't mean being passive. It means meeting reality with courage, not resentment. By shifting our attitude, we transform suffering into a stage for greatness. Practical step. When hardship strikes, reframe it with one question. If a Stoic philosopher lived my life, how would he face this? This mental shift pulls you out of despair and into strength. The Stoic legacy of service. Stoicism is not just about personal peace, it's about service. The Stoics believe that we are part of a greater whole, and our duty is to contribute to it. Marcus Aurelius saw himself not as a ruler entitled to luxury, but as a servant of Rome. This attitude applies today. True fulfillment does not come from endless self-indulgence, but from meaningful contribution. Whether it's raising a family, supporting a friend, building a business, or serving a community, Stoicism reminds us our life matters most when it benefits others. Practical step. Each week, ask yourself, what action can I take that benefits someone else without expecting anything in return? Service is not weakness, it is power in its purest form. Living a Stoic life, the modern path. The path of Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming unshakable. It is about cultivating an inner fortress that no storm can destroy. When you live with Stoic wisdom, setbacks do not break you. Loss does not consume you. Success does not corrupt you. You become steady, balanced, free. Final reflection. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. To live as a Stoic is to live fully, to wake each day with purpose, to love without fear, to serve without pride, to suffer without despair. The choice is always before us. Be ruled by impulses, fears, and distractions, or rise above them with reason, courage, and virtue. You cannot control the world, but you can control yourself. And in doing so, you discover a truth the Stoics carried for centuries. Inner peace is not given, it is built. The question is, will you build it today?